Hello there, welcome back to Sicily, and today with the wonderful build of this very sand cat habitat in front of you. But to not spoil too much, we are jumping right into the speed build, and I'm gonna talk you through what has happened. So this build has been rather intricate, and why was there a little reference at the beginning? Well, it is for the sand cat, which has sand in its name, and we do know a character who is not really into sand that much. So just a little reference I'm gonna leave to you. Props to those of you who understood that reference. Put it in the comments if you fancy doing so. But we're going to talk you through a very interesting build today. So this has been done. 80% of it has been done during live stream, and chat made me do a couple of things I wouldn't necessarily do on my own. I don't know. I needed to go through some pain, which we are going to talk about once we reach the point in the speed build. But far more important than that is that we actually created a result that I'm very happy with. So there is one big issue with the sand cat, and you can tell this from this very video in front of you, because you'll see that I'm gonna change the layout of this habitat quite a couple of times, and this is down to the fact that the requirement of space for these tiny animals are just ridiculous. I would even say that they are on par with the polar bear, because it's humongous in comparison to their body size. I did not know that they require such a huge space, and I needed to do a little trick in order to make the habitat rather realistic. Because if you look at the habitats that you will find in zoos, I really like to go, first of all, to Zoo Chat for that, but also check some on Google Images if I do find some, or on Google Maps. And everything I did look into was quite tiny. And these animals most likely have like an indoor section that is equal to like maybe like a snake terrarium, maybe a tiny bit bigger, which I'm not here to say that this is good, but this is just how it is. And I wanted to do something like this, but just a tiny bit bigger. But now the whole habitat is 10 times bigger than these realistic ones. And you can see that I'm changing the ratio of the habitat ever so slightly every single time. And I was even checking upon how much space they need. And then chat told me to check again with the babies. And well, you see what we ended up with. It's a huge habitat. But I'm going to use a couple of tricks in order to hide the size of it in a good way. I think I really succeeded at that. But it's just such a pain that this game sometimes is so imbalanced when it comes to these things. Like, you do have animals that have, usually in real life, they have like a really big space requirement, just like elephants, for example, or I don't know, other animals that quite run like a lot, like for example cheetahs or ostriches, and they have a comparably small requirement versus like tiny animals like this over here. Also the fennec fox, they just have such a huge requirement for the space. I think it's down more to how the traversable area works rather than what they want to do with the game itself. But it just is a little bit yuck, you know, at some point, because it just forces you to do certain things. Also, by the way, I think it's a good moment to remind you guys of a fact that I haven't really talked about in a long time. Zoo Sicily is a sandbox project, yes, but we do have welfare and all the animal requirements except the plant demand on, simply because I want to go with the Sicilian plant style because it's way more realistic. But other than that, we have everything is turned on, like you know, food, health, space, prey, predation and stuff like that. Everything is turned on. So we have to make these habitats realistic according to what the game understands as realistic, just to make it working. And hence I finally have an idea what we're going to do in one of the next live streams. Like, we will do first of all the fennec fox habitat. We're going to finish this, and we will also finish a prehistoric kingdom build. But then I'm going to do a huge live stream. Gonna have to plan that. It might be the last one before our summer holidays, in which I'm going to really fix a lot of issues. We're going to make like a whole new system of working zones for our staff members. We're going to drop in a lot of benches and bins and education stuff like that. We're going to place some education spots. We're going to make like tours and all that kind of stuff. I really feel like we haven't done this enough in the past, and I really would love to know if you guys are in for something like that. Please let me know in the comments. I could really imagine making like a huge stream of like 5 hours or so, in which we are going to really go into all these nitty-bitty grids, and you can actually comment about these things, what we might do and what not, because we're really moving towards a point where this zoo is becoming more and more done in its core, and we just have some additions to it. As you may know, also on stream the performance is really not that great anymore. In game, you're gonna see in the video too, it's all fine, you know, no worries at all, it's all good. But in the game itself, while streaming, and this is more down to my computer though, the performance is becoming a little bit problematic, so that in the future I may have to switch up a little bit what I'm streaming, because this park potentially isn't the best anymore to stream, just simply because we run into so many issues and it's not going to be enjoyable for you. But yeah, so these things are here. Then I have something else. While you see I'm doing some rock work, more about that later. I'm going to show this in a real-time part. But let me just take this opportunity. We are 5 minutes and 35 seconds in the video. So if you are here still with me listening to this voiceover and you haven't skipped here, or if you have skipped here, hello skipper. Let me just take this moment. If you guys are in the need of a game or anything like that, I did not include the advertisement of instant gaming in this video because I don't need to, so it's not a sponsored video. However, I just find it so cool that we do have the opportunity now to have instant gaming as a sponsor of the channel. So whenever you need a game or you want to check some DLCs or whatnot, you can go into the linky in the description, check it out, and when you go via this link and buy something, you help me reach my monthly goals and you get a game for a great value. They always have like some discounts and stuff. And the actual reason why I'm saying this is we now have access to monthly giveaways as well. So please make sure to join my Discord channel. You will find the link in the description as well. I'm going to do some monthly giveaways as well. So you might be lucky getting a game for free or anything like that. So make sure to tune in, because now as I have passed my requirements for the first month, I have access to the giveaway, which is cool, and you can win something. But I'm going to make like an official announcement for that too. Yeah, now let's go into something I haven't done too often in the past, and I should do way more often, and this is working with the decal as something else than moss, because this works as a proper decal for sand as well. And since we have this wonderful sand pit over there in which they can go, something that Anakin doesn't really like, but they really, like, realistically, when these animals come out of the sand or they do some digging in there and stuff like that, they would transport the sand into the other area. Same goes obviously for the fur. You know, if they do some crazy things in the sand, they do have sand in their fur and shake it off during moving through the habitat. And this is the reason why realistically you'd have some sand across the whole thing, even though you have some concrete on the ground. And that's the sole reason why I created these decals as sand. I should do this way more often because it looks super realistic. Speaking of decals, you'll see how the building looks at the end. It does look certainly super realistic with a lot of decaling we used. For those of you who've been in stream, you know that I had a certain inspiration that I used, because that is a type of building I haven't done in Sicily yet, but I wanted to do from the beginning. It's more like a little bit of a rock down normal casa kind of thing, you know, the typical Sicilian South Italian style building with these like terracotta clay roofs, and then with a more like orange yellowish facade, but then the facade is obviously weathered and stuff, and you've got some, you know, a lot of cracks and stuff in there, but it still somehow has a certain charm, you know. I can't really tell why, but I have a feeling that this Mediterranean style also requires to be a bit rundown just to transport the feeling. Maybe because it's historic, I don't know. The more clean it is, the more, I don't know, redundant it seems for me. Maybe redundant is not the right word, but it's kind of, it doesn't have the character, you know, it lacks character. And the more cracks and the more stuff like that a building has, the more character it has, and this zoo should have character, and this is why I'm doing this. Really happy. Speaking of really happy, you can see also this little tree support over here for the small trees growing. I also kind of love this one, so we will need this in the zoo quite more often. It's more realistic, it looks good, so I just put these things in here. Quite a big fan of it, how it turned out. Yeah, as you can see, now we are going into the decal work. As I said, it's looking rather good. I wished we had more decals by now. Like, when they brought these decals in with the Euro pack, I already was a huge fan of them. But I think it's a missed opportunity to not have included more of these with every single pack. At this point, I'm wondering, like, how cool would it be if we would get like a decal of all the different textures we already have? Like, give us every stone we have as like a cracked down decal version of it, because then you could also just make a nicer transition of these materials into each other without actually needing to use a million bajillion pieces. And, you know, at the end of the day, that would be a huge savior on performance. At the same time, it would be a huge improvement of the visuals you can create. So yeah, at the end, I'm very happy about this. One thing I haven't been too happy about is the following minutes, because it's been a pain to build, but chat was right, or am I saying chat or do I say Omi? It doesn't matter, because it kind of was the same at this point in time during our live stream. The chat was basically personified Omi, because he was legit the only one chatting. Not because no one else wanted, it was because he was legit taken over. But the good thing is, he forced me into doing some netting, some custom netting. And this is a good moment. If anyone of Frontier, lovely folks at Frontier are watching, and I know at some points devs and stuff are watching the videos, hey, you know, if you have a spare minute, how about a proper netting piece? Well, or maybe just the in-game netting in a more small way or whatnot. It's been a little bit of a pain to create these things out of mesh pieces. I tried a couple of things here to make it, you know, more of a dense mesh, but then again, you can't really look through. It might look realistic at first glance, but then you don't see anything from the animals behind. It's just kind of a, I don't know, realism versus doability in the game, or feasibility in the game, and I didn't find this feasible because you just legit couldn't see the animals anymore because pieces overlapping, and of course the hit on performance with so many pieces in one specific spot is quite hefty. So I decided against that for, you know, good reasons, but you can tell that I made this design now. The only bad thing about this is, and I haven't been able to solve it, is that now the animals can escape like crazy. Like, realistically, these animals couldn't escape anymore, but in the game's logic, now the animals can escape, because for whatever reason they can climb on it and jump on it. I disabled the climbing option, but these animals in the game have a problem with jumping, so they can jump like 3 meters, and so they're jumping through non-existing holes, I guess, on top of the netting, and then they just go out of the building. Gotta have to fix that. I have no idea how I'm gonna fix this. Yeah, I have to see. It's at this point really a hard thing because they can escape via this thing by just jumping everywhere. The easiest fix would be to get rid of the upper area of the netting, but then again, it doesn't even look that realistic anymore. But I have to see how I do this. You know, at the end of the day, the game should work, but it's not. So yeah. Anyhows, more about this habitat you'll see in the real-time part. But before we actually jump into the real-time part, there is a little cinematic for you flying through this main area of the habitat, and then we see each other in the real-time part. Alright, let's have a look where exactly in the zoo it is. So let's zoom all the way up, have a little look, and we go and fly right behind the black panther over here, and there you go. This is the habitat. So we are standing right in front of it right now, and as you can tell, this is the full build habitat. I really love how it turned out with all the different angles, with the different looking kind of netting stuff. It looks good. It looks fairly good. You know, it's a bit of a shiny thing with the mesh over here. Would be good if it's not shiny, but it's kind of a believable netting. So we're just going to go quickly in. I think this one is about to escape again. So it's not. So usually what they do is they go up here and then they jump all the way on top of it, and then all of a sudden they are escaped. Not really sure why they do this, but as I said, I'm really, really happy with how it turned out to be looking. And there are a couple of little texture glitches. So this is exactly what happens over here. See, there seems to be something broken about the netting. I'm not entirely sure what that is. So I should also fall down over here. It's a bit of a weird one, not gonna lie. It's not climbable, just to show you. There is no climbing option whatsoever, so it's not even turned off, it's just not available. But yeah, so this is the outside habitat. I really love how the different textures and stuff work together. I think it's looking really Mediterranean. It has a slight African touch to it, which is totally intentional. I do love it. I also love how the roof looks here with the painted clay and having the little clay just shine through. And then whenever you're standing outside here, you have a wonderful look at the little kitties. They can roam around here, have a little climb. And they are fairly good and decent climbers in real life, but they're not that much of a jumper. So this is why I gave them a bit more of a climbing frame in here. They can just do whatever they want. They have a little pool in which they can, technically, they could drink something from here, but practically not, because that's not a pipe. This is like the little fountain piece. I just liked it a lot more. And then I gave them a little drinky drink over here that the keeper has to fill in eventually. Now, speaking about keeper, we do have this indoor section as well, which has this rather ginormous sand pit created for them in which they can play. And then if we just quickly go in, it's really bare bone over here. I should have done a bit of detailing over here, by the way, just decals and stuff missing out, but we can still add this because this area isn't fully done. I have already built something over here, but it's not in this video, so you have to follow the channel if you want to see what's going there. I'm really happy with what we are doing over here, by the way, just as a little spoiler. But yeah, as I said, there is unfortunately this insane requirement of space. This is why they have this pretty empty area in the back. And you know what? It's gonna stay that way. It's gonna stay that empty. Because honestly, as a guest, you shouldn't go further than here. And if I do a bit more detailing and I'm just gonna put like a plant exactly here, you can't see the door anyways. And this is hidden, and this is how real life zoos would do that anyways. But what I wanted to show you is how the decals and stuff work together. Again, a little texture fighting I have to fix, but this is just a tiny fix. But other than that, I really love how this building turned out. We will do what you guys suggested. We are going to have a wonderful terrace over here in which people can sit and have a look into this area. We're going to make this look more natural, a couple of trees, just very bare-bone landscape. I'm going to do a bit of landscaping, and that's that, making that look very Mediterranean. And then this is that area. I really like how it all came together. I really like how this tiny spot over here now has a really good meaning, as you can tell. This was like a little bit of a dead end, but now it's not, and this is really cool. And I have to see how I'm going to manage to get the path up here. I think we are going to have like a little bit of a different serpentine little hiking trail up this hill. It's going to be different to what we've done over here. This one is rather tight with the staircase on here. I think this one is going to be a little bit like this, area over here. We are going to have the same up here, maybe a bit wider, so we're going to see how that turns out. But yeah, that's that for today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed this. I certainly did enjoy it quite a lot. Oh, look at that one. There we have someone escaping. Oh gosh, I hate this. Yeah, as I said, I have no idea how I can fix this, so I'll have a look into it. What exactly is the problem? Oh, the other one is here as well. So yeah, I'll have to fix this. You know, not on stream, not on camera. I have to find a solution for that. But yeah, so that's this. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And as I've said, if you need a game or something, link here in the description. Click it, do something. That would be awesome. If not, well, that's fine too. And now I wish you a wonderful day. See you in the next one. Oh, and also, if you want to check out, maybe I'm live streaming tonight. Not 100% sure. If so, just check out my Twitch. I see you there. Thank you, and goodbye.